Add another classic. I mean, that's what rivalry games bring out in you. And you know, Miami had a great team. They got a heck of a job, played very well. Our kids battled, fought, scrapped, played some situations very well, which I was proud of. Didn't always play well. Lost the field position more early, couldn't get out of it. And then battled back, responded when we had to. Still could have put the game away a few times and didn't. Down on the goal line once, and they battled back and give Miami credit, you know. But, you know, in a rivalry game, two teams are going to go at it. And that's what happens in these games. There's craziness and fighting down for Nick O'Leary with his fingertips on the ball, clawing that ball in and making your play and want to play from a freshman, you know, and he did that. But I love the fight, the competitiveness for our kids to stay in the moment. You know, disappointed we had the game won there a couple times at the end with some turnovers and got some late hits on the quarterback, I guess. I don't know, had to look and see, but we got to be a little smarter in those situations. But, hey, we won another game against Miami. Very classy, good football team. Al does a great job with them, and just extremely happy for our kids and for what they're overcoming and they're learning. And we're growing through this season. We're not going through it, we're growing through it. And that's what I'm the proudest of. And we have problems. We're not close to perfect. But we're figuring out how to win and how to play situations and do some key things. But I'll tell you one thing, we'll compete with a lot of heart. There's a lot of togetherness in that group, and I'm very proud of it.
Jimbo, what's your reaction to all the controversy and the reviews and the second reviews, especially in that first half? And
I don't know. Well, early it was a ruling, and I couldn't, because I saw it both feet out of the line. I mean, I knew that's what we got debated, and finally they got it ironed out, because that could have been a big difference in this game, you know. And I know they didn't do it on purpose, and I just was trying to make sure with my lovely personality of making sure what the rule was at the present time. But they did a good job of handling it right and you know, and called it. I'm glad we got it right. That was a good thing. At least we got the ruling right.
Jimbo, talk about Greg Reed. Had the one he shouldn't probably fielded, and then coming back and really turned the momentum.
Greg thinks every play is a touchdown, and that's what makes him great. But also he's got to be smart in some situations, you know, and do it. And he also had another one that we daggone touched the kicker. He almost brought back the game. We forget that one. I mean, we had a kickoff return we ran back for a touchdown tonight that we got called back. You know, so but Greg's mentality is like that, and I'm gonna tell you something. I'd rather say whoa than giddy up any day of the week.
Speaking of saying whoa than giddy up, Nigel Bradham said, what was your explanation?
Well, it wasn't in the head, but they said he launched to a defensive player above the waist or above the. I guess his interpretation. I got to get that clarified and see what that is, because it looked like he hit him with the shoulder. And he hit him in the ribs or the chest. I mean, from my opinion, again, I can't see, but they said he launched. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's the rule. If that's the rule, that's the rule. I'm not going. I mean, I'll have to get it clarified tomorrow and look at it on film.
Were you surprised after?
I hope he's all right. Is the young man all right? I mean,
were you surprised that after that they asked Nigel to leave the game too?
Well, they come over and told me they were going to eject him. So I mean, it wasn't a headshot. It wasn't a crown of the helmet. I don't know. That's a shame, because I guess the rule. I guess he's out next week.
Is there a rule that you just hit somebody too hard? Is that a rule?
It's getting to be.
Coach, Miami put that.
But I am for safety. I don't want that. But I got to wait to see the hit. It happened so fast, and we'll wait and see.
Miami put that long drive together. They started at their one. LaMarcus got that big interception. How big was that?
That was huge. That's what I said. We didn't all, and I tell our kids this all the time. You can play well and play situations poorly and lose. And you can play very average, but play situations well and win the football game. And that's what we were. Even though they played well, but the situation of the red zone, we were able to convert and get the turnover. Didn't get the turnover before half. And then when we did get down there, we scored enough. And we just nickel and dimed and played situations on punt return, on kick, you know, just and found a way to win the game when we didn't play our best. Now, a lot of that had to do with Miami. I give them, they did a nice job. But, you know, we got to fix a lot of things. But, you know, our kids are learning when you start to become a good team, you don't always play well. You're not always going to play your best, but you can figure out ways to scratch, claw, make the plays at the right time, and win football games. And hopefully that's what we're learning to do. Now, hopefully we'll start playing well again. But you can't win every game by 25 points. It doesn't work that way.
Jimbo, does this feel like an odd one to you? I mean, to be outgained, almost doubled up on first downs, all of that stuff, and then to
I've outgained them and lost too, so I feel a lot better being on this end. But the flow of that game was very weird. To me, from a coach on the standpoint, the flow of it, just how it was a different type game, you know. But rivalry games a lot of times are. It wasn't just a fluid game, you know what I mean, from field positions and turnovers and the way things and the penalties and the delays and the returns and it was no rhythm to the game, if that makes any sense. But There were two teams out there scratching and clawing and playing hard, I know that.
Jim, you guys have now won 5 in a row after you lost the 3. How do you rate the progress of this team now?
That's what I'm happy. That's what I keep saying. I see us growing. We're growing in a lot of areas with a lot of young guys and a lot of valuable, and they're getting smarter and not learning to make the same mistakes twice. And some, but I love, and I say this all the time, these guys practice well. They prepare. This may have been, and we didn't play as well today, our game. We may have had our best week of practice with. Our practices were phenomenal. I mean, we really were. We were sharp, but it just shows us some of their maturity, and they're learning to take it to the field. I like this team. I like going to practice with this team. I really do.
I mean, you guys forced 3 turnovers, could have had maybe 1 or 2 more.
And we didn't have any. So that's the key. I mean, we didn't have a turnover, and they had the turnovers, and that we created turnovers, and we didn't turn it over on ourselves. And those turnovers affect the game more than anything.
Jimbo, they've been a lot better at that lately. They had like 6 turnovers first 2 games, and they've only had 5 like the last 7. And Ja'Cory's improved an awful lot on that. But are you still counting on being able to
hopefully get some turnovers? Our defense, but I tell you what, they blocked us up front pretty good in that pass rush too. Their offensive line did a nice job, protecting well. But he made the one mistake. We actually made 2, and then we got to call back. We had the late hit on the quarterback. He actually had the second interception there that that would put the game away. That was 2 minutes. We could have taken a knee right there, but we got to find a way to make it interesting. But you don't bank on turnovers. I mean, you hopefully get them, and fortunately we won that battle tonight.
Was there ever a point in the game when you thought, my God, this is ugly, or it's okay it's ugly because we beat Miami?
No, it's okay. You win the game. I mean, you find ways to win. That's part of athletics. Everybody wants everybody to be pretty. You want it to be perfect. Competing doesn't work that way. That's in the movies. I keep saying these games. This isn't entertainment. It's competition, and there's a difference. Entertainment, you script it, you set it up, and he makes the big play, and he makes the heroic play, and he throws the touchdown, or he makes the run, or he makes the. This is real life. It doesn't happen that way. And it's about competition. And when you have 2 teams competing as hard as they did there, that's kind of what happens sometimes. And, I mean, do I know we have problems? Yes. Do we have to fix some things? Yes. But there's a knack to learning how to win.
Coach, what's it mean you're 2-0 against Miami? Now, what's it mean just to win the rivalry game?
I mean, I have a lot of respect for it because I was such a Florida State fan before, and I understand the implications of it, and I have a lot of respect for Miami. You know what I'm saying? And to say that we've had 2 good victories, I'm very thankful. And very fortunate and understand, that just doesn't happen. You know what I mean? And blessed.
How about the 3rd and short, 4th and short situations? It seems that
missed 2 of them. Missed 2 of them. First one, I'll take blame. They subbed a guy, a defensive tackle, and we didn't get it from up top. And I thought they were in the same thing, and then they got an extra D lineman in there. On the goal line, we just missed the block. We're going to walk in. We're going to walk in, and we overreached in the back or backdoored us and went backdoor. And we're going to walk in on the option. We had exactly what we wanted, how we wanted the pinch, and the guy went up, and he just going to stuck it right there. But the guy came back door, and he backdoored our guard, and just he missed it. And that was, we got to make it. Again, that was big. That would have been a touchdown. That put you up 3 scores.
Were you really annoyed about all the talk of wide right 20 years ago?
No, I hate it for them. I do. I mean, I don't mean this. And have that guy's picture in the paper? Come on, guys. The guy tried to kick 3 field goals in the game. I mean, don't beat a dead horse 20 years later. I mean, the guy kicked 3 field goals to get you in there, and he's a great guy. But it just guys competing 17-16 in one of the greatest games in college football history, and we always dwell on the negative. How about watching 2 teams compete like they did?
Coach, with that in mind, how big? You talked about getting outgained today. How big were special teams making up for all
Huge.
that?
And we had a kickoff return daggone we could have scored on. You know what I mean? But the other and another great punt return that we roughed the kicker when we weren't even blocking it. But that's another story.
2 more questions for Coach. He has to go to radio.
But it was huge. Special teams was huge. And then getting the onside kick.
Can you talk about
coverage? We had one broke out and they got a penalty, but we covered very well too on Benjamin, who's a great returner.
And Sean as well.
Yeah. Sean was punting the heck out of that thing, boy. Last one, I wish he wouldn't hit quite so good. I wish he left it about the 5. Instead all the way in the end zone.
Talk about going back to Brian at center and you switched out Austin.
Yeah, he got a little nervous in there and snapped one before we were ready and didn't hear one when we heard it, but that's a big rivalry game for a true freshman. And Stork was ready, and we wanted to make sure. We wanted to go with Austin there for a minute, and then we went back to Stork, and he came in and did a very nice job. It was huge.
One more question.
Coach, both teams obviously both programs trying to get back.
Exactly.
How does a victory like this help you?
Well, I think you just learn. You keep learning to win. You keep learning to win when you're playing good, when you're playing bad, when you're playing ugly, whatever it is. And it just takes another step. And any time you win, you gain confidence. And confidence is the key to everything.